Hello everyone, we are from the fourth group. Here we will discuss the chapter 5 about goals, content, and sequencing. Okay, I am Ade Afrilda as the first presenter. Here I will explain about goals and content, the units of progression in the course, and what will the progression be used for. Okay, the first I will explain about goals and content. The goals of a language lesson can focus on one or more of the following, such as language, idea, skill, text, or discourse. Within each of these four areas, choices have to be made regarding the units for planning and checking the course. For example, in the area of language, the units may be passed on vocabulary, passed on verb forms and verb patterns, based on sentence patterns, and based on language function. Some courses cover language items through organizing lessons around topics. Even if the selection of content for a course is based on topics, these are situations, it is useful to check to see that the language items that are covered are the most useful ones. Make well-justified decisions about content is one of the most important parts of curriculum design. If poor content is chosen, then excellent teaching and learning results in a poor return for learning effort. Okay, the next I will explain about the units of progression in the course. The units of progressions in a course are the items that are used to create the progress of the course. For example, if the starting point of a course was language items and in particular vocabulary, the units of progressions would be words and at a broader level, word frequency levels which are similar to those used in creating the levels of simplified readers. The units of progressions can be classified into two types. The first type is progress in a definite series, such as vocabulary levels, and the second type is represent a field of knowledge that could be covered in any order, such as topic. Okay, Table 5.2 shows units of progressions for a range of starting points. The order of items within a field is determined by pedagogical considerations and constraints such as keeping the learner's interest, making use of available resources, and allowing for recycling of material. Although in a course it is useful to check that other units are covered in the course and the other units are at an appropriate level. It is not easy to check all these things in a course, so teachers must decide which are most important for the goals of the course and check on those. Okay? The last I will explain about what will the progression be used for. Units of progressions can be used for a variety purposes, such as to set targets and path to those targets, to check the adequacy of selection and ordering in a course, to monitor and report on learners' progress and achievement in the course. Although a course may seem to have several units of progressions, there is usually one on which the others are dependent. Thus, a course may seem to have both a grammar and function progress, but a careful study of what changes in each lesson and what resources may show that it is. For example, the grammar points that determine what function will occur. Okay, that's all from me. The next Explanation will be delivered by my friend. Time is yours. Thank you.
The next, I will explain about vocabulary. There is considerable frequency-based research that provides clear indication of what vocabulary learners will gain most benefit from knowing. Jadi di sini itu dijelaskan ada cukup banyak penelitian yang menjelaskan indikasi mengenai vocabulary. Typically, the first 1000 words account for 75% of the successive words in a text. The second 1000 words account for 5% of the successive words in a text. 570 academic words account for 10% of the successive words in academic text. Dan juga ada 2000 daftar kata yang paling sering digunakan dalam bahasa Inggris itu dapat ditemukan di wilayah barat. Salah satunya adalah Prancis. The next is grammar. There are several frequency counts of verbs from usage in English, which can act as the basis for the selection and sequencing of items in a course. Imperative don't stem simple present actual and neutral verb to stem simple past narrative and actual past participle. This group of item accounts for 575 of every 1000 successive verbs forms in written English. Stage 2 verb form occur more often that once in 2 pages of text and less often than once per page. Stage 2 of course could add the following items like simple past neutral and habitual, past perfect from simple past narrative, stem plus ing in free adjuncts, noun plus to plus stem, simple present in iterative and future, verb plus to plus stem or stem dominant, and the other. And the next material will explain by Ima.
Function. The most widely available list of functions can be found in FACT and Alexander 1980 and is organized under the 6 heading of. Number 1 is imparting and seeking factual information. Number 2 is expressing and finding out intellectual attitude. Number 3 is expressing and finding out emotional attitude. Number 4 is expressing and finding out moral attitude. Number 5 is getting things done or suasion. And the last number 6 is socialisting. Dobson 1979 present a similar brief list. Council of Europe 2001 put on the earlier list adding new emphasis. There are 6. Number 1 is imparting and seeking factual information. Number 2 is expressing and finding out attitude. Number 3 is suasion. Number 4 is socializing. Number 5 is structuring discourse. And the last is number 6, communication repair. The next is discourse. Discourse as the basis for unit of progression is more likely to be used in pre-university course where learners systematically a range of relevant genres such as recount, information report, and argument. The genre that occur in the course should match the genre that the learner will need to work with outside the course. Skill, sub-skill, and strategies. Some courses use skill and sub-skill as their unit of progression. Reading course, for example, might focus on skills such as finding the main idea, reading for detail, note-taking, skimming, reading faster, and reading for inferences. There are 3 major ways of defining sub-skill. The first is, one is to look at the range of activities covered by a skill such as speaking and to use this as a starting point for defining sub-skill. For example, speaking can be divided into interactional speaking and transactional speaking. Brown's opinion. Transactional speaking can be divided into monologue and dialogue and other. Number 2. Second way is to look at the skill a process and to divide into the part of the process. This is a typical way of approaching writing, dividing the writing process into parts. One possible division of the process is: number 1 is having a model of the reader, number 2 is having writing goals, number 3 is gathering ideas, number 4 is organizing ideas, number 5 is turning ideas into written text. Number 6 is reviewing what has just been written, and the last, number 7, is editing the written text. Process division can be applied in other skills. And the last, number 3, a third way of dividing up a skill to use level of cognitive activity. The most well-known approach of this skill can be found in what is popularly known as Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom divides cognitive activity into 6 levels of increasing complexity. Number 1 is knowledge, number 2 is comprehension, number 3 is application, number 4 is analysis, number 5 is synthesis, and the last, number 6, is evaluation. Okay, I think enough for me, and the next material will be delivered by Ihlasul Amal.
My name is Ihlasul Amal F.A, and we are going to back again, and I'm going to explain about the ideas text-based syllabus. The first idea: what is the meaning of the idea and what is the impact of idea in this learning? First, a good language course not only develops the learner control of the language, but also puts the learner in contact with ideas that help the learning of language and are useful to the learners. There is a 5 category: Passed Under the Cook, 1983, the first imaginary happening, second an academic subject, third learner survival needs, fourth interesting fact, and 5 the culture. And for the last one, text-based syllabus. There is a 2 meaning according to the Baiket and Prabhu. The first, I will explain about the Baiket. A task is an activity which requires learners to use language with emphasis on meaning to obtain objective. And for the second, for Prabhu, a task which demonstrates how the learners need to focus on and understand the meaning of the language in order to complete the task successfully. So that's enough. Thank you very much for your attention.
The next material is sequencing the content in the course. The lesson or unit of the course can fit together in various of ways. Dalam sequencing, the content in the course terbagi menjadi 2. Yang pertama, apakah dalam satu pelajaran tergantung pada pembelajaran yang telah dilakukan sebelumnya, atau disebut dengan linear development. Yang kedua, apakah materi pembelajaran terpisah dengan yang lainnya, sehingga siswa dapat dapat dilakukan dalam urutan apapun, atau disebut dengan modular arrangement. Next, sequencing the content in the course terbagi menjadi 2, yaitu tadi linear approach to sequencing and a modular approach to sequencing. Linear approach to sequencing: most language courses involve linear development, beginning with simple frequency items that prepare for later more complex items. The example of model or linear approach sequencing: there are spiral curriculum, metric model, revision unit, and file approach. This spiral curriculum. Spiral Curriculum diperkenalkan oleh Brunner pada tahun 1962. He believed that before learners going to the next material or going to the next content, they have to acquire or to master the previous knowledge. Jadi Brunner ini percaya bahwasanya ketika siswa ingin melanjutkan ke materi yang berikutnya, siswa harus mengerti atau paham materi yang sebelumnya. Selanjutnya, the matrix model. We have some item to be covered and then also learners can get a various content of the topic. For example, topic 1 and topic 2 and topic 3 and topic 4. The learners can have lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3 and lesson 4. The next revision unit. Dalam revision unit di dalam poin-poin tertentu dalam perkembangan linear. Ini membahas tentang merevisi materi sebelumnya. Secara logis tadi jumlah waktu relatif yang diberikan revisi harus meningkat seiringnya berjalannya kursus. Selanjutnya, modular approach to sequencing. Break a course into different non-linear units. This unit may be part of the lesson of the group of the lesson. Dalam kursus bahasa dapat dibagi menjadi berbagai model. Dengan cara model dapat berbasis keterampilan dan model yang berbeda, seperti for listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and sub-skill of the listening skill. Next, summary of the step. There is 4. The first, describe the goal of the course. Decide on the unit of the progression for the course. Third, choose and square the content of the course. The last, check the content against list of other items to ensure coverage. Okay. Thank you very much for attention.